Shalom. Coming back with another edition of 100 Years of Lynchings, book written by Ralph Ginsberg. This is an article from the New York Post, written in May, on May 13th, 1941. And the title is Florida Killers Drag Negro from Ambulance. Quincy, Florida, May 13th. The body of A.C. Williams, 22, Negro, charged with assaulting a 12-year-old white girl, was found on a bridge 5 miles north of here today, several hours after he had been abducted from authorities for the second time. He had been shot to death. Williams was taken from the Gadsden County Jail last night by 4 white men. Later, he was found in the home of another Negro with several bullet wounds in his body and suffering from a beating about the head. His assailants apparently thought he had been killed. Sheriff Lieutenant had Williams placed in an ambulance for transportation to a Tallahassee, Florida hospital, after a physician said he had a good chance to recover. The ambulance left without guards after the sheriff said he did not anticipate any more trouble, and on the way was stopped by a group of persons who took Williams from the vehicle. Will Webb, Negro driver of the ambulance, said the vehicle was halted by 4 or 5 men, and the wounded man was pulled out and taken away. One of them said they wanted the man I had in the ambulance and they didn't want any trouble. He said, I told them they wouldn't get any trouble out of me because I didn't even have a pocket knife. He said he did not recognize any of the men. This is in the New York Times, July 27th, 1946. Georgia mob massacres, 2 Negroes and wives. All right. And it goes on. Monroe, Georgia, July 26. 2 young Negroes, one a veteran, just returned from the war, and their wives were lined up last night near a scheduled road and shot dead by an unmasked band of 20 white men. The ghastly details of the multiple lynchings were told today by Lawyer Harrison, a well-to-do white farmer who had just hired the Negroes to work on his farm. Harrison was bringing the Negroes to his farm when his car was waylaid by the mob 8 miles from Monroe. Questioning of one of the Negroes by the mob indicated Harrison said that he was suspected of having stabbed his former employer, a white man. The Negroes, Roger Malcolm and George Dorsey, both 27, were removed from the car and led down a side road. The women, who were sisters and who had just recently married Malcolm and Dorsey, began to scream. Then a mob member said that one of the women had recognized him. Get those damn women too, the mob leader shouted. Several of the men then came back and dragged the shrieking women from the automobile. A few moments later, Mr. Harrison heard the shots, many of them, and the mob dispersed. The grotesquely sprawled bodies were found in a clump of bushes beside a little-used side road, the upper parts of the bodies scarcely recognizable from the mass of bullet holes. Let me read that again. The grotesquely sprawled bodies were found in a clump of bushes behind a little-used side road, Salakia. Beside a little-used side road. The upper parts of the bodies scarcely recognizable from the mass of bullet holes. Dorsey's mother, Monia Williams, said that her son had just been discharged after 5 years in the army and that she had received his discharge button in the mail just this week. The lynching was the first in the nation in nearly a year and was the first multiple lynching since 2 14-year-old boys were hanged by a Mississippi mob in October 1942. For Georgia, it was the first lynching of more than one person since 1918. when 10 Negroes were lynched in Brooks County. And this was written July 27, 1946. Okay? Which is really not a long time, man. You see? I'm gonna read one more. This is from the Washington Post Times Herald, written on September 1st, 1955. 15-year-old boy is lynched. Wolf whistled at White. Greenwood, Mississippi, August 31st. The body of a 15-year-old Chicago Negro who had disappeared after he allegedly made fresh remarks to a white woman was found floating in the Tallahatchie River today. He had been shot through the head. Two white men, one of them the husband of the woman allegedly assaulted by the boy, early had been charged with kidnapping the victim, Emmett Till, from the home of his relatives here. In New York, Roy Wilkins, executive secretary of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, branded the slaying as a lynching. A 125-pound cotton gin blower had been tied to the boy's neck to make his body sink, but his feet floated to the surface, leading to the discovery. A coroner's jury ruled that death was due to the gunshot in the temple. In addition to the bullet wound, the top of Till's head was smashed. The medical examination disclosed. I'm gonna read that again. In addition to the bullet wound, the top of Till's head was smashed. The medical examination disclosed. Leflore County authorities had charged Roy Bryant, a white storekeeper in the nearby Money community, and his half-brother, W.J. Millen, with kidnapping Till. Sheriff George Smith said the boy was abducted because of the allegedly insulting remarks made to Mrs. Bryant in the Bryant's country store the night before. Bryant and Millen, however, told police they released the boy unharmed after Mrs. Bryant told them he was not the one who had made offensive remarks to her. The Bryants were said to have become offended when Till, who had visited the store with other teenagers, spoke to Mrs. Bryant and waved goodbye. Some bystanders said that Till had sounded the two notes of the wolf whistle at Mrs. Bryant. While the NAACP called on the government and Governor Hugh White to take quick action in the case, the governor said at Jackson he had not heard from anyone about the Till boy's death. Referring to the NAACP, he said, "They're in the press all the time, that gang." Alright, so let's get some precepts through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. This is the book of Baruch. Salaki. I'm gonna start at the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Okay, talking to you Edomites. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. Verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, and verse 13. Therefore thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off men and beasts from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, and verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And Mount Seir is the dwelling place of these Edomites. And say unto it, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. The book of Baruch, chapter 4, and verse 31. Baruch 4 and 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she received at thy ruin, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved of her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come up, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhibited of devils for a great time. The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai shall bring upon it. Let's get one more scripture in the book of Maccabees, the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 1, and verse 27. Gather those together that are scattered from us. Deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, and let the heathen know that thou art our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Plant thy people again in thy holy place, as Moses has spoken it. Bahashem Yahushai. Alright, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glorification to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the believers, the Akim and the Akwad that patiently wait on the return of our power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Abad Babal, Kwam Yasha Allah. Shalom.